Yeah, you guys doing this to Producer Brothers Comics. Welcome to the Marvel Hack Season 12, Episode 5. It's the conclusion of the Judas Contract, y'all. We've made it through. We were the DC Hacks, as Sandman had coined us for this season. We did it. I don't know if we'll do it again. Yeah, it was a trip. Oh man, not the thumbs down. Not the thumbs down. We'll get into it. We'll conclude. We got some uncomfortable topics to talk about as well. Because yeah, there's a lot. Let's go around the clock before we get started. On the line tonight is Sandman. Sandman, say what's happening.
Yeah, mark the tape, y'all. This probably be the last DC hacks y'all ever gonna see.
That's harsh. That is harsh. I can't say last. You can never say never, but whatever. You know, Brother Blood had to leave early, so he sent his proxy. Brother Beavis is back on the podcast. Say what's happening.
I apologize that y'all have had to listen to that hack for the last several weeks.
Yeah.
I'm finally bringing my critical take, and we about to ride on these Titans, fools.
Right, fools, yeah. Titans together. Also on the line, he's a little tired tonight. We'll have to poke the bear.
I'm a lot tired tonight.
We'll have to poke the bear to get him to come out of his shell. It's Big Hush, man.
Well, this time if he falls asleep on the podcast.
We're going to see it. Yeah.
That's what you think.
The camera went dark.
He's got a dead man switch on the record.
Yeah,
if he falls asleep, the whole thing goes off.
This shit is authorized and computerized.
So still, hush.
Yeah.
Hush.
That concludes our broadcasting day.
That was so damn funny.
Yeah, start with the freaking what's that song? God Bless America. Start playing at the end. Colored stripes will come up.
Yep, the color test.
All right.
I like the crying Indian.
Yeah, we'll get through it as quick as we can, so Hutch doesn't fall asleep. Anyway, to recap, Deathstroke has captured the Titans in the two previous issues ago. He captured the Titans. He made his move and got everybody all captured. And then the next issue, we saw Steve Rogers' Deathstroke origin story, which will continue tonight.
Deathstroke First Avenger, I believe.
Yeah, exactly what it was. It was just a lot. Plus, we get the introduction of Jericho, who may be referred to as Loris Tyrell on this thing here. So if you get confused in there, and
or the national heavyweight champion.
Yeah, it's the North American
heavyweight champion, Jericho.
Exactly. He's back to work out his daddy issues that he has with Slade. And then we get the debut of Nightwing, which I have affectionately in my notes keep calling him Darkwing Duck because it started once and it's just going to continue. So if I call him Darkwing Duck, that's what we're talking about. So as we get into the book tonight, we open up at the Hive, which is awful, by the way. We open up at the Hive and the Titans have been captured. And I texted this to y'all earlier.
Wait, before you go to that.
Yes.
And speaking of callbacks, they were fighting red robe ranks in the first issue. They're fighting purple robe ranks in the last issue.
Yeah, faceless, nameless. I think I wrote jabronis in here quite a few times.
Grimaces.
Man,
the cult of Grimace.
Golly. The issue is finale is the total Wolfman again, George Perez. And so we open with that big old splash shot there about the Titans all captured, all laid out or whatever. And I texted y'all, I'm like, how many times we seen the Titans in this laid out like this? In just this series of what, 5 or 7 books?
5 times champ.
Man, I mean,
all captured and
they're just all laid out. And like the funniest one is Raven, that they got her in freaking in a tomb essentially there. I don't know why.
They're afraid of her.
Yeah, that's just bad.
They could have let her kick off her heels if she was going to kick back and sleep through this episode.
And so basically, like the contract has been mostly fulfilled, and the machine that they captured in is kind of like the Hulk. You know, the more you fight, the stronger it gets. Oh, okay, sure, fine, whatever. And they're caught in there, and so we start to move into this, and Terminator monologuing about what he's actually done, and I mean, help me out here, Sandman.
Yeah.
Why? Basically, like, why in the world is Terminator? I know he did this for his son Ravager or whatever, but why is he going through this whole bit just to? He doesn't need the money, obviously.
Yeah, because he's a jerk, basically.
Well, his code too, right?
Yeah, it really was because of that stupid ass contract for his son. And he's got his word is his bond. Is what he
Yeah, one
says
of my bonds,
several
son.
times. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that was basically it. And you
Yeah.
know, he's been fucking with the Titans this whole time, off and on.
Well, has he been fucking with the Titans
He's been
or?
fucking one of them Titans.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Anyway, and now that you say
Always
that,
beats him up.
leads
So yeah.
that leads into our introduction of his partner in crime, his teenage bride, jailbait. She's my cherry pie. However way you want to look at this, we get the Titan reaction to all of them seeing Terra as the leader, you know, and Hutch has pulled us up. If you're on Watch the Pod, yeah, you see everybody's face, gasp.
Shock.
Except for Victor, by the way. He's just like, I knew it. Everybody else was kind of shocked. He's like, I knew you couldn't.
Oh, that makes perfect sense now.
Yeah, it's all slipping into place. Still missing the G's on all his words, by the way.
Well,
And so, yeah, everybody's just, you know, so shocked about this. And then now we get this. We talked about heel turns on the text chain today. This is one of the, not necessarily a great heel turn because she was already a spy, but like her start from this to the end of it, which we'll get to, is like way off, Hutch. It starts off like moo-ha-ha and then turns into something completely different.
Yeah, she's mental, and she's mental, and her powers are crazy, and Terminator's doing everything to her. So yeah, all of it together, it all adds up to one crazy tooth bitch.
Yeah, there's a cry for help that got missed in this whole situation.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely could have seen the school counselor. And like she takes particular interest in rubbing it in the Beast Boy's face. It'll come back up here in a little bit. By the way, smoking a heater.
Well, if you're gonna break all the rules,
I mean that's fine. I mean whatever. But yeah, like
that's like the equivalent of her like goatee and mustache, right? Evil Terra always has the heater. That's the cue that she's in heel mode.
And the earrings on too.
And she sticks the heater behind her ear.
Yeah,
and lipstick. Yeah, she did. She's a bad girl in all the wrong places.
Yeah, well, then Gar Logan Beast Boy Changeling or whatever is like, you know, he has you under some mind control. He's like, no, I'm fucking him. No, it's not that.
You little trick ass Mark, and I'm fucking him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and she pulls, you know, like, oh, you know, do this. He's like, I go where I wanna go. And yeah, so this is cheap heat. You know, use a wrestling term. Fuck Hulk Hogan. This is cheap heat. Like, this is running down the town and saying bad things. This is like, oh yeah, by the way, she's really bad and she's doing or saying all these things to get everybody to hate her. But this is definitely cheap heat. Like, I don't hate. I'm indifferent to her, even though I knew what she was doing all this time. Anybody agree to disagree?
Well, I think the main thing here is like, there's no shocking reveal, right? And I mean, if it was, it came before this issue, right? So we've been looking at the Titans this whole time and like, look, we know y'all were stupid. So now that you're surprised, like, I think maybe that aspect of it could have been orchestrated, but they would have had to put the whole story together a little bit differently. And I think that's to me my overall critique of this sequence of books. I think there's a great story here. I think it's put together like really awkwardly.
Yeah. Or tell it over a lengthier period of time. You spoiled the lead at the beginning. Anyway, all right. So Hutch pulled this up on Watch the Pod. So outside of the freaking Hive Center, we get our two heroes, Darkwing Duck and Jericho, and they are, you know, trying to figure out how to get into the Hive Center or whatever. My note on here says, "Do not Nightwing got them gadgets like Batman? Then like he got gadgets.
He does pretty much.
And Prometheum is their adamantium. Is that what I take from this?
Yeah.
Something
they
like
mention it all the time in DC.
Yeah.
He looks like a G.I. Joe action figure, particularly with like his winter helmet and goggles.
Yeah, he does with the visor.
Yeah, Nightwing Duck looks like a G.I. Joe action figure.
Exactly. And apparently
he's going to get frozen in carbonite here at any time.
And if apparently that costume has unstable molecules because Jericho is dressed like it
Oh,
should
yeah.
be, and he's in here just in a regular ass spandex costume, but he put some goggles and a hoodie on, and he's like, "No, I'm cool. I'm not cold. I'm good." So my my note says, "Meanwhile, the Justice League is captured." Nightwing and Jericho try to break into the hive. They take out some jabronis. And then they do a Batman 66 moment there and walk up the side of the mountain.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Batman bullshit. There you go.
Have y'all ever? That shit is on IFC, or it used to be on IFC, like on Saturday mornings. Have y'all ever tried to watch Batman 66?
I haven't
Yeah,
watched it
recent
since
years?
have
the 70s.
I've seen a little bit of it. Like it's not good, but I can't see the not goodness about it. Like
Yeah.
that.
The nostalgia.
Again, that was another show that was the only thing we had at that time, and it's
Mhm.
become a thing unto itself. So
Mhm.
it's
Right.
nowhere near other representations, but it is what it is.
Right.
And the campiness is just the campiness. So I accept it for what it is.
That
Yeah.
show did ruin that character for how many years? 40 years,
Yeah.
almost,
About
something like
50.
I
that.
get it.
Until
I
he
get
started
it.
coming back to
Yeah.
the true element of the character.
Show that shit to somebody
Well,
that's
they-
under the age of 35 or 40, though.
Hmm
Oh well, you
See
can't
the
show it to
looks you
anybody under
get.
the age of 35
Yeah.
or 40. You can barely show it to us.
The bumper in and out, the same bad time, same bad channel. That's amazing. The
Yeah.
off angle camera shots.
Oh,
The
yeah.
now there the hokey like death trap at every mission that's makes sense. And actually, it's funny you bring that up because that was one of the other things. It's like to me, this series seems like it reveres that era of comic book stories almost too much.
Right.
So the villains don't win. Like it's funny that Deathstroke has this nefarious plan that's so well orchestrated in order to get them into an easily escapable death trap rather than finishing them off, right?
Right.
So it's still that
And
layer of
monologuing.
just
Yeah,
campiness.
just
Always
yeah.
monologuing.
Right.
Man,
Well,
and
the
you have
hive
the
is like
classic monologuing.
the hive is like, hey, you haven't completed the contract. Where's Kid Flash? Where's Darkwing Duck? And he's like, well, Kid Flash ain't really on the team anymore. And Robin, well,
See what happened.
yeah, exactly. So he was,
And the funny thing with that is he put his foot a solid 36 inches up Dick Grayson's ass in that fight. And now he's like, I just couldn't do it. Grayson's too good. He got away. He's too good. I'm like, you owned every inch of him. What?
yes.
That fool had a bad wheel and everything, and he still
Yeah,
got
and he
away
still
from it.
got away though. Yeah. Well, Terra
Pretty
got
bad.
jokes because she wants to kill all the Titans. Still, she doesn't care about any of that kind of stuff. And then he goes, "Lead me to a phone." Hi, kids. That's a telephone. That's used as a phone, not as a computer or to look up other things like that. So he
reach in
calls
your pocket.
Wintergreen. Yeah, he calls Wintergreen, who's being held secretly by Adeline. And then we get another damn origin story. I'm like, come on, man, like for real, like another origin story, but not one origin story, two origin stories, because we get to see, when he gets captured, and then we get the flashback to a time then when freaking Slade got captured and Wintergreen rescued Slade, and then the Slade to pay it back, he had to go back and rescue Wintergreen in Vietnam. But with all that being said, so let's say if we can establish a solid age then for Slade. So if he was Saigon when he went to Vietnam, okay, so that making 19, what are you talking about? What, 68, 69? That'd be fair. 70?
Yeah, pretty much.
That'd be fair, right?
He was a grown ass adult.
Yeah.
He was an officer, wasn't he? Or was he?
Yeah, he
was a
was
major.
an officer. He was
a major.
Right. So yeah, you just don't roll out of bed and be like, oh yeah, we're giving away major rank.
Let's say he was advanced.
Well, he is white.
No, that's fair.
Even outside of the Continental Congress and shit, that's the only way you used to be getting you major in general.
Okay.
You pay for your own troops.
Okay, so let's say he was 24 when he got to Vietnam in 1970. All right. So let's call this
Let's.
1984.
I'd pick it back to 68, the Tet offensive.
Okay,
So,
man,
yeah.
thank you. So let's half the whole and call it 70. So we get to 84, so that would make him 14, 38. Nam 40 years old, right?
But hello, did he take the Infinity Serum or something?
That's what I was about to say. You know, he took that damn the super soldier serum. The DC
Serum, yeah.
Serum.
That ain't stopped his
Serum.
age clock from going.
It's
Hey,
not
Captain America, they had said a
That
few
ain't stop his
times.
age clock. So
Slow down.
And what about the Winter Soldier?
yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting to that too. I'm just saying. All right.
Of course,
So
that
yeah,
is
so we get
Marvel.
this big old flashback, and and so, and so we get through this whole thing, and I'm just skipping through this whole thing because I just find it to be ridiculous. Although the little black mask thing on Slade jumping out of the bush.
Wait a minute, you don't find the jungle boots
motif.
don't get you excited?
No.
Well,
Not exactly blending in.
Let me say, so I had to walk away from the book when I got to this part, and I texted you guys because I'm like, seriously, we had an entire issue of backstory, and we're still backstorying.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, the fact that he built his little Peter Parker wrestling costume out in the jungle, and then his superhero costume is actually based on it. I can connect a line between those two dots. I appreciate the fact that, like, he's like, well, this is what I had to deal with, and so then I had to figure out how to make it like less terrible. I can buy that as the source of his costume.
I
so
do like that
I did
continuity
appreciate that.
of that.
That's fair.
That's some stolen Zulu warrior bullshit.
I didn't say anything about appropriation or the appropriateness
I'll
of it.
say it, damn it.
I'm just saying I appreciate the fact it's consistent.
He still wears basically that costume to today. They've updated it so it's all more armor now instead of all this crazy shit he used to have on it. But yeah, it's still based on that.
He ain't Shaka Zulu.
That was a little crazy.
Well, and it's also wintergreen, as you see more as his damn Thunderbolt Ross, for sure. But I skipped one of my notes there. It was like, okay, so wintergreen is the Jerome to his Morris Day. Can you think of any other sidekick tandems that you can think of for your comic book stuff? You know, person and their sidekick. Obviously, you get Batman and Robin. That's
I know. I know who Beavers are gonna say.
That's the main one.
Wait, what? Rom and who?
Captain America and Bucky? Rom and Dazzler? What?
I was waiting for Moon Knight and Frenchie.
That would be a good one. You know, I've come to understand I don't like Moon Knight as much as I once thought I did.
All he is Batman.
Yeah, I try to read some of the modern stuff, and it is awful.
They're doing a series on him. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Daredevil and Foggy.
Yeah,
that's a solid one. Yeah,
or
a good one.
Matt Murdock and Foggy.
Yes, and you know, it's Superman and what's that? His
Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zack Snyder killed his ass.
Actually, maybe
that sidekick is worth a lot of points in Champions, so I get it. You can get it. You can finance a lot of powers.
Yeah, the end of the dependent.
Got disadvantages.
Right, disadvantages, champions, all of them books, and they all the human hostage.
Dependent NPC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What the wild part about Wintergreen there is, like, you know, he's going through like what you know, Slade has gone off the rails or whatever, and essentially he blamed the teenager for it. Basically, I mean, he just, you know, this Markov girl like really kind of turned him out. Like, you sure that's not the other way around, sir? So Luke and Han then sneak onto the Death Star as stormtroopers, because that's definitely what this story is as they get in there. And there's some wild shit about where whatchamacallit can't speak, but when he inhabits the body, not only does he has to speak like the person that he's talking.
Yeah, that did seem a little convoluted.
It was
a little crazy.
I can speak. I can't speak, but when I take over somebody's body, I can speak. But I got to do it in their voice, and I got to talk like them too. So like the language or whatever is that's kind of fucked up.
What about? You would think there's a code of conduct and appearance for hive people. Why you gotta have a stash, yo?
Yeah.
Clip 4 stash. Yeah, I mean, it just well, yeah, for the cult, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things you got to shave your head bald, no stash.
They don't play for the Yankees.
Yeah.
As long as you got your
awful.
purple hoodie, I mean, you pretty much good, right?
Yeah.
So
they
I think
say-
that's why they have their hoodies, so they can actually sport the mustache underneath.
There you
Nice.
go.
They say the Hive Master is coming. Is this anybody that's of importance, or is just the characters that's the Hive Master?
Oh, I remember it.
Ass whooping to be named later.
Yeah, it was a chick. Later on, I don't know who.
Yeah,
it
Queen
is now.
Bee Hive. That would make sense.
Oh well, in Young Justice, it was like the Queen Bee had mental powers.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, Queen Bee. Yeah, I forgot about that
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
I mean,
She's got a card.
of course she does. I like the idea of them. You know, like I like the idea of Jericho's powers. It just kind of comes off hokey because he's got the North American Championship belt and his outfit sucks so hard. But like, I mean, his power is actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
I never understood what happened to his physical body. It seems like he goes completely intangible, but it comes along with him.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
like,
much. They don't explain it really.
okay. Yeah, he's not just disappearing like as an astral form. He's like literally walking
It's
inside
very
of-
convenient.
Yeah,
Put it that way.
Yeah,
It was
so
hard.
Hive-
It's hard to follow. There's a sequence coming up that's very hard to follow if he's supposed to be involved. But
Well, the Hive Master is coming, and they were like, "Yeah, y'all ain't getting Juneteenth off either." So, nope, sorry, no. This is like, yeah. So, consequently, everything is delayed. So, no, nobody can leave. You can't do anything.
they're making them watch the execution on closed circuit TV, and they're in the arena where it's being held.
Hey, they paid top dollar.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
Just spill that shit on me,
Operation
boy.
is exactly. Is Operation Waterworks a thing? Like, is that a thing that comes up later? Operation
Yeah,
Waterworks.
sure. I don't know.
Well, they
what
kind
it
of
is.
threw that in there out of nowhere, so I didn't understand that part. Yeah. And then there's some weird like language here, because I'm pretty sure is like on purpose, where he's like, the dude, I come inside him. Yeah, something weird like something. The language is really off. It comes back up later too. And then Robin is fighting. It's like, hey man, it's you gotta know it's me. Always look for the J or whatever. I was like, this is corny as fuck. Like, it's so fucking corny.
But to be fair, again, that's a nod to sign language, ASL, and
That's fine.
that portion of the community.
Mhm.
As
Fine.
Brother Blood brought up, I think he had one valid point in 3 weeks.
Sandman Jericho's on some Spider-Man shit here. He kicking everybody's ass. All these jabronis. He taking them all out, man. Like
Yeah.
jumping in between bodies, doing bolo moves. He got it all going.
Considering
the
he's
average
just-
Joe, the average
Considering-
Joe human in DC universe
and
is like
he's
a
pulled
two.
off the street.
Right.
Yeah, with
They're
that
right. They're 2s and 3s.
ridiculous
and
outfit he's got on too. By the way,
right. I think Jericho and it's definitely I almost called him
How you
Darkwing.
not gonna?
Nightwing's a 7 or 8, maybe a
Mhm.
9. So right, they
man's
can
what,
kick their
10.
asses all day.
You ain't pull up Jericho's card.
Jericho versus Nightcrawler. Who
Mm.
takes the
Wow.
cop down
Who
first?
takes the cups out? Yeah.
One moment.
And I put in here too that Darkwing Duck is a terrible partner. Maybe probably because he learned from a terrible person too. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be throwing all these grenades and gas bombs and shit. Oh, I got a gas.
Oh
bomb.
yeah.
Oh, you fucked up.
Look,
You ass out. You ain't got a mask.
first
My
one
bad,
to
dude.
die loses.
Yeah, I mean,
Did we
like,
get to the
damn.
part where he's like, "Shh, oh my bad,
My
you can't
bad.
speak."
Yeah.
Ah.
Awful.
that is awful.
Like,
Wow.
he's got all
Fucked
this
up.
stuff going, man, and he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that. My bad."
He's like, "I'm just trying to get with Corey."
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, well, there's a dick joke here coming.
Oh my god.
Joking. So yeah. So
Terrible.
they all get caught by Terra though. Terra comes back with a vengeance or whatever and hits them with a bunch of rocks, like all the rocks, all up in the face. And,
Been nice knowing you, sucker.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Yeah.
Jesus.
I called it a rock tornado. And
A
she's
rock
like,
NATO.
yeah,
I believe rock NATO.
rock
is-
NATO. Nice.
Technical term.
Yeah, coming to Sci-Fi Network. And she's like, why is this little yellow haired boy look so familiar? You know, we cut out of that. And then it's like one random thing. And then like after that they cut to Slade and he's in this room monologuing to himself or whatever. And then they make an announcement over the fucking intercom system. Like, Mr. Slade, please come to the hive, please. Mr. Slade, please to the hive. And so my note here says, did you ever get called to the principal's office? So okay, well, let's do this. So when we were in school, let's forward. Now they could call like legitimately into the classroom, and so like on a phone or even over the intercom, like, hey, can you send Darkwing Duck to the office, please? Like, oh, okay. Rewind for the older people. That didn't happen. They would call your name over the whole ass intercom, so the whole ass school.
Everybody knew your shit,
and then everybody was like, "Ooh, why are you getting called to the office?" So anybody get called to the office over the intercom system? Y'all are all really good kids. Yeah. Oh, Sam, man, our brother.
Maybe
Beavis, you
once. I can't remember exactly.
What'd you do, brother? Beavis? Why they call you to the office?
You don't know. You know this story.
I think I do. Did it involve somebody dying?
No,
Okay,
I famously got called to the office because I outed some racist activity on our school
that's
bus.
right. Yes.
And I got called in and I was told to stop starting trouble and to keep my mouth shut next time.
Yes. Ooh, yes.
You can say the N-word as many times as we want on it.
Yes,
yes, you can, apparently, even on the west side of town.
Yes. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out.
It was. I remember it too. I was actually in shop, and they were like, "Brother Beavis, come to the office," which was a surprise because nobody knew me by that name at that point. But I think there was a tangible like, wow, he's like smart and good and white. Why is he getting called to the office? And I was like,
you didn't get the ooh.
Not that. I think it was present, but I think it was so ooh, like it just didn't get said. And I was like, wait, but I'm smart and good and white. Why am I getting called to the office? And yeah, straight up, like, hey, you upset some people by telling people they were racist. And when those people that got upset went after them like people normally do to racists, that created a problem. And you need to understand you're creating problems.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. I neither one of y'all ever got called over the intercom system.
I'm sure I did, but I blocked it out.
Yeah, Residence Park Elementary. I think. Who was the? Do you remember the principal? I can't remember his name. I can see him in my mind. I can't.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see him.
Yeah, Residence Park.
Mr. Caldwell.
No,
is that it?
That sounds. That's Roth IMS.
All right,
but at least
he got me once with that big ass paddle. I remember. I don't even remember what the hell I did.
It definitely elicited the oohs whenever you got called, though.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Then your ass was in trouble.
I remember now. I ended up getting detention on some crap that I didn't even really do. It was fucked up. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a privacy issue now where I try to call you to the room. I'm like, well, y'all still call them over the intercom system. So they still know they got to go to the office because the teacher's like, hey, you need to go to the office. Ooh. No, it doesn't.
That's your ass.
Yeah. I'm wondering if this, if Terra's smoking the same heater, by the way, or she's just got a stack like in her arm.
Right,
like
she's got somewhere in that one of those
pouches, little bitty
pouches,
backy to backy.
Well, one of them pouches she has around her waist is her smokes.
Well, when Terminator gets called to the office, and it's literally like what he's doing when he goes to the office is what happens when you get called to the office. Like, shit, what the fuck did I do, man? I don't know about my life, man. I should just go to Africa. Oh, what am I about to go to this office? I would rather do anything than do this right now. So yeah. So let's see. So High shows off their latest capture, which is Jericho, or which is Robin. They wheeled Darkwing Duck out there like he was Hannibal Lecter and shit. Like, what the fuck is he on? Like, is he on a unicycle? Like,
he's on a wheel on it, whatever it is.
Like, what is that thing?
I noticed
wheeled him out in, man. I'm like, what the hell? So she gets rolled out there, or he gets rolled out there, excuse me. And we get to this point where we're going to have another battle here.
I wonder how.
Yeah, well, and then they show up with Jericho too, and she gets a chance to see Jericho. And she starts like, "Hey, why does this kid look familiar?" And then it's basically like, "Oh, that's your punk ass son, right?" And
What did the
and
5 fingers say to the
yeah,
face?
exactly. And he's like, how did Joseph get here or whatever like that? And
He
then
lost a little
Joseph,
bit of his fro when he got pent up.
well, them rocks probably. Everybody knocked some of his hair up. And so as his dad gets close to his face, he, body slide by HQ now and slides into his body. And then he takes over and then he starts to free everybody. He
I'm
got
surprised they didn't pull the "you got to have 2 eyes for this to work" bit.
I know for a fact that he's tried to use that on Cyborg, and using his electronic eye only, he can stop it. There's an issue where he does that.
Right.
So,
And he punches him in the face.
yeah. So
Nice.
I don't know. Just saying.
Well, Loris Tyrell is inside of his father right now. Ooh, wait a minute. He's inside his father, and he starts, freeing people and shooting things or whatever, and he frees the Titans, and that's where we get our big shot there. There's Hutch has it on Watch the Pod. Titans together. They just got freed. I'm gonna be like a bird, an eagle, a vulture. Really? Shouldn't that be a bigger thing if I was Gar Beast Boy?
It's fast.
T-Rex or something, wouldn't you?
It's fast. You can close the distance and then engage.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Look at Cyborg, y'all. He sucks. I swear to God, man.
Well, you do not like Cyborg. Yeah.
I don't. I do not.
I do like
80 Cyborg is pretty janky. I give you that. But yeah,
That's awful.
He's kitted out for jazzercise.
His metal jumpsuit. I don't get his metal jumpsuit.
Yeah, he's got the freaking that thing on. He's got his fake Luke Cage thing.
He's like, "Why'd you lock me in this unitard?"
Yeah, it's just bad. So
you could have made me a cyborg, Silas, but you didn't have to put me in a unitard.
And so they, really, honestly, at this point, cue the, start the ball, Cajun, because it's really what's about to happen. And just kind of get all these little comic book fights and then just beating up jabronis. I mean, that's basically it. There's just a bunch of terrible freaking villains or whatever until we, you try to get to the big bads. But there's really not a whole lot going on. Let's see. Hold on. Sorry. And okay, so yeah, so as they go through and we get a chance to see everybody's powers, and then Terra goes after Slade. It's like, hey, wait a second, you a punk ass bitch, basically. Like, you done got soft, and so now she goes into this bit about where she's supposed to go insane. I just have a problem with this because they're gonna keep going through this. Like, okay, so yeah, she was insane. Where was the indication of any of that other than the time that she went off on Gar Beast Boy Logan, which was justifiable homicide, to be honest with you, because of the way he was teaching? Like, where is this thing where she was like insane?
She was going a little bit crazy at the beginning.
Okay. How so?
I mean, she did flash some stuff, and she might have over twerked her powers a little bit a couple of times.
Right.
Yeah.
There were signs.
Now, is an implication is that the powers made her crazy, or she was already crazy?
I think she was. Crazy. I think it was. It's in the bloodstream because I think her brother is also a little wackadoodle.
Wasn't she on the streets or something like that?
Right. Yeah. Something they got. They got captured or something.
Because I don't remember anything before.
She a little bit of Patty Hearst here or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just. All right. There's not a controversial thing. Okay, so again, we established that Slade is a solid 40 plus years old.
Well, yeah,
it's established in 40 plus. It's established in here that she's 16, and here coming
just
up
barely
soon,
16.
Yeah, and here coming up soon, she's going to literally out. Yeah, she's going to literally out that they're lovers. So maybe him grooming this teenager for a sexual relationship drove her crazy. I mean,
the way she's presented originally, she's got this trauma from the terrorists at home and whatnot, but that's all allegedly a lie because that was all a work to get her in with the Titans. So yeah, you're absolutely right. She instantly devolves and it's a messed up ending.
Yeah, that would seem a more plausible ending, is that her mind was manipulated by this older man. My
Mhm.
note on here says this is some fucking Joey Buttafuoco shit. Google it, children. And what was that girl's name? Amy. Ugh.
Amy Fisher.
Amy
Fish,
Fisher.
yeah,
Yeah,
on
this
it,
is
yeah.
some Amy Fisher shit. You know, this old ass man freaking meddled with this young girl, fooled her brain and mind all the way up, and she goes off and does something ridiculously crazy because she's, you know, had her mind all completely mind fucked by some old man.
Used by this cat. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, to me, that's a more plausible story.
Yeah.
But they would never tell this story in 1984, and they wouldn't tell it now because they'd be like, "Hey, that's kind of icky."
They
Like,
should have
no,
knew 52. That would have been a better story.
They don't. I think they might have. Who
Yeah,
knows?
and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just easier to be like, no, this bitch is crazy. Because if you looked at how many times they call her insane as this book closed out,
Yeah.
is a lot. It's just like, oh no, she was crazy. We're good. It's crazy. That's it. You know, let's just get rid of her. I'm like, okay. So yeah. So we, I mean, I had my note says all the Titans were rolling offense on 5, 6, and they all had offense on 5, 6, and 7. They just couldn't stop, man. They're just beating everybody up as they go through this. And then the story is, you know, look, even Wonder Girl got some offense, y'all. Her sorry self. I mean, that's terrible.
Their damn rope.
Yeah. And so she's said that they're going crazy, and then Raven attempts to stop her as she's going through that. Why is Raven like useless in this?
How did Raven even come back out of her little trap? She wasn't in the splash page.
Mm-mm.
And when she first popped up, I'm like, oh, who is this robed villain?
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, that's Raven. What?
Yeah.
I guess she teleported out, I guess. I don't know. No, they didn't show her until that panel. They didn't show her.
Leave that panel up. So she shows up there the first time, and then she gets uppercutted by
yeah. She did get uppercutted.
She
uppercutted to Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, she gets knocked out. It's like, let me get that evil up out you. Yeah.
She definitely doesn't get her win back.
No, I'm gonna get these teeth out of you. She ain't been shit since her freaking soul search or soul
self
got freaking broke up.
Any overuse of her powers releases Trigon. Basically, that's all the excuse every time forever.
And I won't say what I said last week, but it seems like once they turned her into a different looking character, they were like, oh yeah, we could maybe give her some decent powers and like not make her like a pushover here, because this version, she didn't do shit in this entire series. I mean, shit.
Until they finally dealt with Trigon, yeah, she really wasn't much of a force to deal with. Yeah.
So they're all worried about where Changeling is. Changeling, Beast Boy, Logan, Gar. They're all worried about him because he was so hurt, you know, by this particular situation. And you know, before we get to that point, Terra gets to get some freaking jokes off on him. Like, I actually turn the screen over to me, Hutch, if you can. Oh man, I can never do this. Let's see how this goes. I'm disabled.
That's where it gets awkward.
Yeah, because she's like so angry. She's like, I kissed you. That was gross. Made me want to puke and throw up. I mean, she has a particular moment of going at. I'm still disabled. It's still of going after
get
him.
Fixed.
I'm sorry. So, oh boy, let's see if I can find it. And so, he gives her this speech. Is it here? He gives her this speech.
Can't hear it, but yeah.
I hate you. I hate you.
I hope all the bad things that I've happened to you.
No sound.
No sound. Y'all can't hear it. You know the speech.
This is
all the bad things in life.
This is required knowledge.
And nobody else.
We need to find the 100 people who dislike this, like, right now.
Yeah. So he gave him that particular speech. So it's, but again, like, the whole time, Beast Boy, Gar, Logan, Changeling is like, oh no, use the powers of your mind. It's okay. She's working on our side, and she's like, no, I'm not. You suck. I hate everything about you. And
most women do. Let's be honest.
Well, that's fine. So and then we get to that shot there, and Hutch, I think you had it pulled up there for a second as um Jericho is inhabiting his father or whatever. We get to this point where him and Terra face off. And this is where this admission comes out. She's like, I was doing all this stuff for you, but it wasn't because we're lovers, just because we're lovers. Like, ooh, there we are. And you really wonder, again, like, how did somebody in editorial be like, hey, that's not a great idea that we have this old ass man essentially raping
Jim
this.
Shooter apparently didn't work for this company.
No, definitely not. Like, how is that not a thing, that somebody didn't come
Colossus ain't so bad now.
Trying to be risque, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, compared to, yes, he is not so bad, but it's still,
considering the stuff that was going on in real life,
I mean,
right, this is, and right, there's, because, look at all the rock and roll people that we think are great and wonderful or whatever.
mhm.
And if you go to their backstories and what they were doing in the 60s and 70s, you would never listen to their stuff again.
Yeah, no, she's only 17 is a real thing. Like, I get that part, but also it don't make it right.
It don't make it right.
I mean,
but
again, my chosen day.
But we know these stories. We knew these stories before the internet.
Right.
But these people, they're not getting prosecuted for it.
And again, my chosen day profession, sadly, it has never not happened at a school that I've worked at. Like, never not. It just happens, and it's bad. Like, I mean, it's bad. It's just really, really bad. There's people, take advantage of these kids when they're that much older. It's just not, and it ain't always, the hot young, teacher that just graduated college or whatever, hooking up with some kid. It's these old ass men that, manipulate and groom these girls to end of these things. That's happened with lady teachers too.
And boys.
Then it's an overwhelming number of, male teachers that do that. So it just
terrible.
It's bad. It's really bad. All right. So anyway, so they get to this point. They do a little Walls of Jericho joke. Let's find Dick and his friend. So oh gosh, I hate this part. And then Dick hits Terra with a frisbee. Does that be fair? He got them gadgets, right? That's a frisbee, right?
That's a bad gadget. It just it's kind of a boomerang or batarang.
He hit the
Nightwingerang.
Well, it's so funny. Like, hey, let's talk to him and like see, or let's talk to her. We can help you. Whatever's going on inside of you, we can fix it or whatever. And it's like, no, I'm good. Yes, as Hutch has pulled up other stories or whatever about terrible people. So it just goes on and on as they try to capture her, and we get essentially to the conclusion piece here where she goes nuts, or no, insane, excuse me. They keep going over this bit that she's insane, and her powers just keep going off and off and off, and she starts pulling lava and everything from the ground and doing all this, everything like that. And it gets to the point where it, she has the freaking Lannister ending where the rocks fall on her and she, we'll get to the death here in a second, but she dies. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, tell me what I'm missing here out of this. I mean, because there's a whole bunch of stuff happening all at the same time. Anything stand out?
Cyborg guy's arm broke again.
He took a real L.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah.
I don't remember how does Deathstroke ends up. Does he just peace out somewhere?
No, he gets arrested at the end. He's captured.
Yeah, her end here is just like, she was so crazy she killed herself.
Basically.
Mm-hmm. Do they Dark Phoenix arise her at some point?
Not this version of the character. I know they brought her back in later different versions of the Titans. Like when they were the new Titans or whatever, they took the teen out, because that's when they started changing their appearance and all that stuff.
Yeah. And again, my standard joke again about Raven is the same thing. It's like, oh no, we can't even show her face, but now they show everything about her, everything. And
Well, and the other thing too is like they really play up the sympathy for Beast Boy, who apparently was in love. This dude is like a serial sexual harasser,
yeah,
and
I like he is.
and so there's like this moment, like, you know, where's Gar? We found Terra's body. He needs a moment alone. So
Yeah.
like anyone else that, you know, that would actually be a big moment. But we've seen him just be terrible.
Yeah.
Like how can you play him for sympathy, given that he's just an awful character?
Yeah, yeah. The way you had played him up to that point, now, he would have found the body and fucked it.
Yeah,
Like literally, that's exactly what he would have done.
I feel
Because
certain he thought everyone loved him,
yeah,
and he was in love with everybody.
Yes.
Anybody that killed himself in a pile of rocks.
There,
He
I
would have
have
been
to
in
say,
some-
there is a follow-on issue to this where Changeling goes after Terminator on his own and tries to kill him. Hence the word try.
Yeah, that's like me challenging Serena.
Yeah.
I mean, if he came out of this and was like, I'm gonna stop being a chode and, you know,
Yeah.
actually be a decent person, that'd be one thing. But
That's
I
a
have
great story.
no belief that happened.
Right.
I think he acted mature
I
for
don't know
like
how much he changed
2 episodes.
after
That's
this.
like 6 months.
Panels.
Yeah.
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 I mean, like I said, the ending of the book, I mean, it's a lot of great artwork and a lot of what's going on. It's just the idea of like, oh, okay, she went insane and her powers went insane, so she's like that. Now, again, this is a very much a Dark Phoenix-esque ending as well, and it feels a little bit kind of lifted and stolen a little bit. And this would have been in and around afterwards, I guess,
After,
of Dark
yeah.
Phoenix.
But she didn't sacrifice herself. I mean, come
That's
on.
fair.
So at some point I'm gonna say, like, we've been told from all directions that this is the greatest Teen Titans story ever.
I think it is.
And I think that it's unquestionable that the Dark Phoenix saga is the greatest X-Men story ever. I mean, maybe you could say Days of Future Past,
Yeah.
but beyond that,
Dark
so
Phoenix is
it's
more famous, but
easily the top one of two.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine. I don't know. Like we try and say we don't read this stuff just to shit on it, but there are obvious flaws in this sequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to imagine somebody reading Dark Phoenix and, other than not being able to follow all the continuity that's layered into it from like all the books that precede it, I can't imagine reading Dark Phoenix and coming away like, well, that just sucked. But I came out of this like, well, this just kind of sucks. It's just poorly put together. It's missed opportunities. It's a mess of like all stories they were trying to weave in and out. If this is the best Teen Titans story, the Teen Titans suck, is my conclusion. Because this is not great.
Well, the Teen Titans are a bunch of second generation, no generation characters from the Justice League of America. And
but that doesn't mean you can't tell a good story around them.
Well, like I said, some of us have read several editions of the Teen Titans, and I mean, I've tried. This is the best freaking Teen Titans story. This is the one they'll always come back to.
Yeah. So maybe that's it. This is the best Teen Titans story, and just the Teen Titans aren't very good.
Right. I mean, after
it's a little brutal.
But I enjoy Young Justice, which is largely based on the Teen Titans, and I enjoy Teen Titans. The Titans show is absolute trash.
Right.
Teen Titans Go is what it is, which is not any of those things. But
right. So I mean, there's only so far. I mean, Booyah and rubbing booties together. And I remember some episodes. I mean, having a black Aquaman or Aqualad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they
called around.
They tried everything.
Yeah. This series, though, in and of itself, like I said, I think if it had been the impact of the traitor moment or whatever should have been not revealed in the front part of the book, like of the series.
Right.
Like I think
The Columbo approach works when you get to see how the hero comes to understand it. But we got the whole picture, and then they were still shocked at the end.
right, yeah.
So
Yeah,
if you give us the picture and then Detective Supreme Grayson figures it out along the way, other than being told the whole story and still refusing to believe it,
right.
then there's a story there. But that's not the route they went.
No, it isn't at all. And that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, the reveal, have some, telling the story with some shadowy thoughts, or telling it over time, or how she became a part of the team, or, like it was like, hey, yeah, by the way, I'm working with these dudes and we're going to take them down together. All right, cool. And I'm going to rape you because you're a 16-year-old and I'm a 40 fucking year old man. And that's going to drive you insane. And then you're going to drive rocks on yourself so I can get out of this shit without going to jail. Got it. Period. Point blank. So no, I didn't like the ending. And then she gets a freaking hero's, knight's funeral here, and I'm like, what? I mean, I know they talk about why they did it or whatever for her brother or whatever. What is she Russian? Is that what the thing is?
They're from
East
some,
European.
Yeah,
there's some type of.
Yeah, that was the kind of messed up part too. Is like you invited Batman, and you'd be like, oh, by the way, Bruce, she was a spy. And we're just doing this because Beast Boy's like all messed up.
Yeah.
So it'd be great if you could just act like you care.
Mm.
And they, who was that, Metallo, or who's the other dude?
My note in here says let's get the funeral roll call here.
Like what? Why would you invite that guy?
Yeah.
What's his name? Chemo or yeah, something. It's not
Metallo.
This is the Outsiders, ain't it?
Yeah, that's Batman and the Outsiders. That's why
Halo,
Katana.
Black Lightning.
Who's Robin?
Katana was in Suicide Squad.
Black Lightning, Katana.
Black Lightning, yeah, that is him. Damn, I forgot about him. Shit.
Everybody did.
Oh, the new Robin is there. I didn't even see him. Damn.
Yep.
No.
Tiny.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't end well for me. And then she gets to the human or the hero's funeral, and the book is like, oh well, she died a hero, and then they give her a bus and they even fix her teeth. I'm like, damn, man,
got them
terrible.
Got them choppers.
Man, I know, man. They didn't fix her teeth.
Well, she might have gone Michael Strahan. Like, oh, that's my identifying feature. You need to put that on.
Captain made him a lot of money.
Yeah, that's him. I don't know. Wait, who is that?
That's Halo. Yeah.
That's the people that's at their funeral.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Batman shouldn't have a team. FYI.
They figured it out with this
Metamorpho.
He didn't after a while. He ended up leaving him.
Yeah. They shouldn't. Batman doesn't need a team.
He was true to character. He fucking left because they found out he was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that team.
And look at that team, though.
Wow.
The first person that says it's Force Factor with Batman, taking one in the chop.
My first thought was like, this is why I don't read DC. Like, looking at that, that's the exact reason I don't read DC.
It is Metamorpho. I'll be damned. Okay.
I said Metallo.
Yeah. Right, close enough.
All right.
Wrong. Sucky. Yeah, his outfit is horrific. It is just terrible.
Don't say nothing. Well, actually, The Rock is playing Shazam, or Black Adam, but he could play this character too.
Yeah, he wouldn't be playing this character.
Yeah.
That John Cena will play Metamorpho.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the conclusion, y'all. I mean, Jericho winds up joining the Titans. His mom, like, I'm tired of taking care of your ass. Go join this team. They'll do good by you or whatever. And and that's the end. And again, not seeing what story comes after this, and I'm sure I'm not going to read anything. It just seems like, yes, okay, so people base whatever. I mean, if this is obviously a huge Titan story because it got the DC animated treatment. They got the whole movie and cartoon movie at least, and so it was obviously a big deal for them. But just overall, I just didn't really, y'all have a better history with this. And does it read the same way to you? Like you remember it the same way from reading it before? Because, like, I mean, again, I'm fresh, and obviously not a huge fan of the DC stuff.
Obviously, honestly, I was going to say, yeah, the parts with I had forgotten all that stuff with Brother Blood and stuff, which was completely unhinged and unnecessary. I thought it shouldn't even been part of the story. The rest of it, yeah, I thought it was still, it still kind of held up to what I remember. But you have to also remember that I'd read the entire run of the comic, and there was a long buildup of things that culminated in this.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
So that finally concluded with the Terminator. I think this kind of ended his run as a major villain for them for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He kind of went on sabbatical for a while.
He's kind of their Magneto, right?
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. He's the new Teen Titans. He's kind of their main villain.
Yeah, like, oh, wait, we gotta go back to the well.
I would sabbatical. Maybe that the police got involved and he was doing a bid upstate.
He had to go away for a little bit.
Yeah,
to go away for
like
a little bit.
at 18 to 24 months. He had to take some time away from a lot of things and people.
And he was a Batman villain kind of after that too. You don't really see it.
I've always said, I was like, I'm not sure why he isn't a Batman villain. And again, like Deathstroke has become one, like on all the cartoons related to the Titans or whatever, he's like the main thing there. And they tried to give him a whole ass movie and a push, wrestling term, fuck Hulk Hogan, and the Justice League thing. And just all of that just fell apart.
We were talking a little bit before you got on. I think he was on Arrow too, and
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it was a great representation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, because the design is it is very cool. So I would imagine that it is, but just just not a lot of luck in terms of big screening. And Hutch, what do you think? Does it hold up?
And compared to some of the other stuff I read after this, I mean, I like it. I like the story. Is it the Phoenix Saga? No,
nothing is.
Right? Is it? It still holds a spot for me. I know I was hurt a little bit by her turning and dying, but it kind. I like the Teen Titans at this point. I started reading them afterwards. I was in for a while.
So was I. Yeah, for a long time. Actually,
like I said, I get it, and obviously it's a huge important story for DC. But I don't know, just the pacing and the storytelling was a little bit off for me. But that's about it. Okay. All right, so that'll wrap season 5 here, and we're gonna take a little bit of a break here. And there'll be a poll set up here shortly on the Brothers Comics page and Twitter and Facebook and all that. We try to determine what our next summer series is going to be. We had some choices out there, so we'll put them up on the poll, and we'll kind of go from there to see. Side brother topic, current and whatever. I'm finishing Ta-Nehisi Coates' run on Captain America. It's really good. Again, I have no idea how he had such a grip on that particular character, but not the Black Panther. But that freaking Captain America book is really good. I remember where we stopped. I started at issue like 18 and then starting to read on to like I think 29 or whatever. But a really good book. Again, he kind of set the world in a Trump-like world, so it made it more realistic or whatever. But he also he kind of gave Cap a team, Falcons back, Bucky, Sharon, the Daughters of Liberty or whatever, like, and everybody has a function, but obviously Cap is the hero here still too. They're still telling that story with Selene and, Red Baron, the Red Skull. So yeah, I highly recommend to go back and read. I tried to go back and read that, and I tried to go back and read that Hulk book, and that was a little bit too much. It was way too much continuity of that, and so I couldn't just pick it up. So yeah, man. So I'll go. So all around the room, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle for the Judas Contract.
Where's the room start?
Hutch.
It's thumbs up for me.
It's gonna always be thumbs up to me.
Yeah.
Still good.
brother Beavis.
I mean, I'll set aside all the Me Too type stuff from that era, but I'm more upset because I feel like there's just missed opportunity. I think the structure of the book, the rapid, the pacing of the whole Slade backstory, like if the point was to give us 1.5 episodes of Slade backstory, that could have been paced over the entire thing. I think the reveal to her death, over the course of like 6 pages.
Yep.
It just the whole structure of it, that's what bothers me more than anything. Is I feel like there is definitely a really good story here, and just the book doesn't give it to you. There's so much stuff going on, and then just the elements get put together in the wrong way. So I'm not saying there's not quality, and obviously the book looks great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not quality. It's just the end product to me is just not worthy of being put on any kind of pedestal, just because of the way it's put together and the missed opportunity.
Yeah, I'm kind of thumbs in the middle. Wouldn't say thumbs down completely. It's just kind of in the middle. Again, pacing issues. I have some issues with a lot of the undercurrent there of some of the characters or whatever as well. But also, again, wasn't reading those books then. Whatever. Like, man, this seems like we were at like 6 issues. You tell that story over 12 issues, I think it's completely different, because you could have them doing you could tell the story about freaking, Kid Flash leaving. You could tell the story of, Robin leaving and going to do his own thing or whatever, before even involving Brother Blood. There was probably a couple of mini stories that you could have tell, get them to like know and love Terra in a way that you're like, oh, you know what? I could see why they would be really upset, and then tell that story without having her reveal whatever. Like, oh yeah, I'm working with Slade, and man, nanny boo boo. Some freaking silhouettes of her talking to somebody, and like some intrigue, something, anything. Oh, yeah. All right, that's it. All right. So remember, you made the find this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. You can watch the pod on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel. Please do that. So we're up to 100 and some odd followers there. So keep it coming. Share with a friend, whatever. So yeah. So as the X-Men, the animated music starts to play us out, again, I'm the producer of this podcast. I'm signing off. Brother Beavis, sign off.
Hopefully we'll be back in the Marvel Universe soon.
Yeesh, that's harsh, but true.
For better or worse.
For better or worse.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the reason we got to this point is because Marvel did us so dirty. So
yeah, let's take a 20. If you go back and listen to some of our stuff, we've been reading books from our youth, and we're like, oh my god, that's not a good idea. It's it's not a good idea. Yeah.
We'll see if the grass is greener back where we came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. Yeah. It depends on the poll.
Yeah, it's like looking up the girl you used to like in high school on Facebook. It's like, don't do it. Don't do it. My God, don't do it.
Don't do it, John.
Yeah, Sandman, sign off.
All right, DCites. May we never meet again. Probably.
Don't say that.
That's harsh.
Y'all have. That's a damn it.
That's harsh. I can't go. Even I can't go that far.
Damn.
There are plenty of good DC books. Damn it.
We gotta find something.
Yeah,
different. Right. But there's Batman. We haven't done the Dark Knight Returns.
Speaking of
there's all type of books. Dark Knight Returns. Nice. There's plenty. The Watchmen.
It's all right.
Quit hating. The hate. Watchmen
really is
long Halloween.
Exactly, DC.
I got the long Halloween.
But the movie came out today.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, it did.
Does it have Damian Wayne in it by chance?
I don't. It shouldn't.
Yeah,
but I can't say that it doesn't.
Yeah, all right, nice. There's plenty. Year one, Batman.
We can do the Watchmen, but it'll take probably 48 episodes of podcast.
My God.
And you talk about dark and all kind of crazy shit happening. That book is going to do it.
It's just for free on the Kindle. I tried. Yeah, and much like the TV show, I was like, hey, y'all gonna need to find a different host because I can't follow it. I'm not smart enough to go through this.
Now don't read this shit.
What is
was
that?
Oh.
Dark Knight Strikes Again.
That was that the Dark Knight Strikes Again. I don't
Is
even know
that-
if I still got
Is
this
that?
shit.
Oh yeah, let's give Frank Miller some money. Oh, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Right. But there's plenty of books,
Yeah, I heard that was
plenty
coming.
of DC stuff. Oh, and also Gen 13.
All right, so yeah, you're about to get your mic cut. All right, so
Boo
go ahead and sign
boo
off,
that
man.
man.
Yeah,
Boo.
boo. Go ahead and sign off.
Good night. DC still exists.
Good night,
DC.
everybody.
Damn, yes,
If you're on watching the pod, you really just
You woke
seen him
up.
You really just seen him go through. Well, the DC hate got him. He's just going through his trade paperbacks, and there's quite a few of them.
There's a bunch of
Darkest Night or Blackest Night. But that one's awful, actually.
You would bring that up.
I think Darkest Night is the better one. I think.
Yeah, Blackest Night is awful.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Pieces.
Good night.